she brings up Wellston High, Wellston University, and she even brings up Agwin. Now, I think it's really possible that this could be a subtle hint to us going either to Agwin or reuniting with the Agwin group. I want to see, Rain as a high tier. What's her passive, Uru? A little tiny, teeny tiny hint. Either going to be going back to Agwin or seeing some Agwin students again. What's up, guys? Welcome back to review and discussion for UnOrdinary episode 277. Now, this episode was honestly pretty good to kind of get a scope of things beyond after rereading it a few more times. So yeah, I just want to go ahead and jump right into episode 277. So right off the bat, John and Sarah are sleeping in Layla's office for the night. They're just both in some random pajamas that assumedly Layla just got for them. And then Doc and Layla are kind of like watching over them as the two of them sleep. They then begin discussing their current situation, and Doc seems to be very against them doing any of this, but then Layla does retort, asking if she'd rather them fight back or would just wait around to get killed. And once again, I think this just does go to show, despite how much he hates taking care of them, how he should let them rot, Doc cares about these kids. Now, you could say, Doc just doesn't want, children to die like anyone, like any normal person would want. But I think this is just a testament to, him showing, he does care about his students. He does care about his student. He cares about John. He even goes as far as to say that they didn't ask to be in this situation. Layla then offers Darren an out, saying that he can still disassociate from them, assumably ZSI, the corporation, and she can even remove him from their databases, so it'll be like he's never been a part of them. Doc is initially very hesitant about this. He doesn't say yes or no, and he asks about the recovery machine as well, and he even asks if they're going to be dependent on it forever. And Layla says that it's only until they can figure out how to permanently restore their abilities. Now, Doc then thinks about this on a bit, and he asks Layla how she plans on doing it, but she has nothing to go off of. So, based on that interaction between them in regards to Doc asking about this, I feel like Doc is going to be I feel like this may be potentially hinting that Doc will be the one to figure it out. We know that Doc is a really genius chemist. He's already worked on a negator for the dampener. Now, the negator doesn't really have the best effects right now, if we're being honest, but he still was able to figure it out with proper equipment. So I'm thinking maybe Doc will be the one to actually figure out how to restore a person's ability. We know he's a genius, and Uru has been hinting more and more that he's getting more and more involved. Now, with this being said, I don't know if I don't know, maybe John's uncle won't be the reason why John gets his ability back. Maybe John will figure it out on his own, because he did reaccess it. He did reaccess his ability for a split second when him and Sarah were ambushed. But I don't know. I feel like Uru is hinting no, maybe Doc will be the one to figure it out, because we also don't know. Maybe John's uncle can reactivate John's aura channels because they both have meta abilities, but maybe they can't do that for Sarah. Who knows? So, that's that. Guys, I fucking called it. We cut to an undisclosed location, assumably near Oren's home in his apartment, probably in that very high-rise building he was in. 3 people are tied down and bags covering their faces. And then the masks get pulled off. One is revealed to be, not by name, but based on design, look, uniform, and everything else. One of them is revealed to be Rain, the queen of Agwin High. And she confirms that she's unable to activate her ability. So guys, Rain is back, and I'm actually really excited for this because, you know, we've all been wanting to see the Agwin group again. We've all been wanting to see Rain again because she kind of has a fucking sick ability. Early on in the series when she was fighting Blyke and she was just like, I'm a spider, bitch. That was sick. That was really cool. But she's back, and there's a little more information to this here that we can look at just based on the context of the episode itself as well. So Orin then shows himself and to them, and Atlas is there too, in his uniform from the prison bake that you know, the kind of like incognito shit that he was wearing, similar to the one that Sarah had. So, and then he's standing before them. Orin then comments that the three of them are amongst the strongest ability users in the area. Now, you know, this is kind of interesting because, again, there's a few things that we can take away from this context in regards to Rain. So, I think it's possible that, you know, Orin probably lives closer to Agwin and Loven than he does to Wellston. So, he also points out that they're amongst the strongest ability users in the area. So maybe this does also confirm that Rain is stronger than Broven. Or, you know, maybe he couldn't just get access to Broven. Who knows? Orin also confirms that they've had their abilities deactivated, saying that they must have noticed that their abilities have stopped working for a few days. How the fuck did they do this then? Like, how did he ambush these three and also deactivate their abilities for a few days before getting access to them again? I'm curious. I want to know how. I want to know how he did this. Like, has he had them captive for 3 days? I don't know. So, one of the captives is really, really aggressive. Like, you know, going off on Orin, kind of similar to how old John would have. And he asks Orin if he did this. And Orin, he says he offers a cure to them at a cost. And he's clearly trying to recruit them into Spectre. This also kind of gives us a little bit of, you know, insight as to how exactly Orin has gone about recruiting people to Spectre's cause, very much against their will, which assumably, you know, most of Spectre probably isn't cool with. Let's be honest with ourselves. But with Orin here, you know, with how extreme he's been taking things, it's kind of, you know, obvious to see. So he then refers to Atlas as 23. So that's kind of what we can call the assassin for now, and I think I probably will switch to that, 23. He has them untie them. The aggressive guy then tries to rush him to attack Orin, but Orin activates his ability. And here, I'm going to say it does seem like Orin may not be Terrence's dad, since they have kind of nothing in common at this point. Has no similar ability. But Orin's ability is really cool, and it's really interesting. He's essentially like Inumaki from Jujutsu Kaisen from his speech ability, kind of like, you know, speaking to demons, and and their body just does what he commands. Or also Zagred's Kotodama magic from Black Clover, speaking things into reality and controlling them. So I say that his ability is command. We had a few good other name suggestions in the comments and in the chat from when I first reacted to this episode, but I'm going to go with command. That's my guess for it. So it seems to also be a mental ability because we never saw him actually speak when he was using his abilities. It was all just bold words on the page itself. So it seems to be something mental that he can use. Now, in regards to this, I'm going to say definitely due to the limitations we know about John's ability, this is definitely an ability that John can't copy, since with this, there is no physical feedback other than the aura that we clearly see around Orin when he's using it. So he does it. So given a command, and people their bodies are forced to obey his command, and he orders him to kneel. The guy kneeling seems to be a fair bit conscious of his body and his surroundings when he's still doing it, because he's reacting. He's like, I can't move this guy's ability. What is it? Orin then orders Rain and the other guy to stand, and they get up. It does seem like they're conscious at first when he's using his ability on them, but as he commends them further, based on the art itself and how their faces were just kind of like blank catatonic, it seems like that consciousness, as Orin started getting them more and more orders, seems like that sort of faded away. So one thing I do want to note, actually, when Rain and the other guy were walking towards the person, there was a small bead of sweat on them. Now, I don't know if this was them being nervous. I feel like if they were actually conscious of what they were doing or what their body was doing, they would have acted similar to what the other guy was. But again, they were seemingly catatonic at this point. So, yeah. So, they begin to stand, and like I said, it looks like they lose their consciousness as his aura also covers their eyes as well. And the dude is fucking murdered. Snapped neck. Honestly, it's a bit unnerving even now to think about. The paneling and the way Uru made it was actually really good and effective at being like, oh my god, this is really uncomfortable. Like, it was serious. It was serious. It was hard to look at, even for us, the person just reading the page. So, Rain and the other dude look at the body lifeless, and they're both just kind of like, oh fuck, what happened? Did we just kill someone? And then Orin just hits them with the, let's discuss our terms. And honestly, this is a solid way. Uru really solidly introduced a villain this time. A new character this time. We know that Orin has some kind of power. We know that Orin has some kind of authority. That's been obvious since he's a high-ranking member of this now terrorist organization. Not only that, he has an incredible ability. An ability that, based on the information that we know about our main character, it's an ability that our main character won't be able to copy. We can infer that. And also, Orin is ruthless. Uru has been dropping more and more hints that, like, Orin kind of has done some shady things to get where we are. Layla brought that up. And we see it firsthand. Orin isn't someone to be fucked with. Orin seems to be pretty smart, actually, compared to someone like who, unfortunately, in my opinion, got kind of fumbled in Cassandra and Terrence. Unfortunate as it is. But I'm excited and terrified to see what Orin is truly capable of. But beyond that, I'm excited that Rain is back. Now, I am calling it right now. I think that a rematch between her and Blake is likely to happen. Now, Uru knows that, we've wanted Rain for a long time. We've wanted to see Rain rematch Blake for a long time since Blake surpassed her level when we first met her. Blake has surpassed her. Blake is a high tier now. Now, with that being said, I do think it's possible. I'll touch on this. I'll touch on this right now. So, undisclosed amount of time later, assumably probably the next morning, maybe. So, the murder victim is reported as a missing person. Now, he was actually a second year at Wellston University. I did go back because I thought there may be a connection. Maybe we saw him before at Wellston University in the background. Or what I thought could have also happened, maybe he was a classmate of Ray and Kuyo. I checked the Ray side story and I didn't see any person that looked like him whatsoever. So, just some rando. Honestly, no big deal. We've seen plenty of randos before. So, but here's the interesting part. He is confirmed to be a high tier. So with that being said, I think it's likely that Rain has also had a big level increase since the first time we saw her way back when in the early parts of the series. And so, I think maybe she might honestly be closer to Remy's level at this point or something. Or maybe she has just ascended to just high tier itself. Maybe her and Blake are just equals now. But I do think Rain has reached high tier because last time we saw her, she was just a 4.9. So, yeah. We also then see that Arlo is listening to this broadcast, this report from the authority, from the news and everything, as he's in a taxi heading to an interview with the Bureau of Authority in Wellston. The driver in the taxi actually blames Ember for the missing person, but Arlo doubts Ember's involvement because he points out, we know that Arlo knows. Arlo points out to himself that Ember's trying to deter vigilantism. Ember's not the ones targeting random high tiers. He knows that about Spectre. But I don't think that it's possible that Arlo is suspecting Spectre at this point. So, he arrives at the Bureau of Authority and he meets up with Cassandra and he tells her that he has an interview. Cassandra leaves and he looks back at her, and again, it's kind of with that similar way he looked at her when he first met her when Keen introduced the two of them when she was visiting Wellston. He looks back at her with that same unsure look, kind of what to make out about her. Maybe Ray told him a bit about her. Maybe I think it's very possible that Arlo knows that she was the previous queen of Wellston, the previous top student. So who knows? I am interested to see how their relationship is going to continue and develop. Because honestly, Arlo versus Cassandra, now that I think about it, that might be kind of fucking hype. That might be really hype to see. Before the chapter ends off, I thought it was going to end off so much sooner, but Uru kept going with a lot of information. A woman comes up to get Arlo to take him to meet with Dimitri. Who the fuck is Dimitri? I don't know. A lot of people are speculating, it seems, that he is possibly John's uncle. Gonna be honest, I feel like that kind of be a waste, honestly. I feel like, I said this in the reaction, I feel like the first time that we meet Uncle Joe, the first time that we see him, should be the first time John sees him. Assumably. Claire's vision. John walks into the office at Wellston and he sees him. They come face to face with each other for the first time. I feel like that should honestly be the first time we actually meet the character. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. I think it's very likely that episode 278 is going to be an Arlo-focused chapter. Honestly, don't hate that. I'm interested to see more about the inner workings of the Bureau of Authority. The authorities in this interview, I think there will be a lot of contextual information we can gather from this interview and this episode with Arlo and his interview with the one and only Dimitri. So, that will be it for this review and discussion, guys. Honestly, this episode, honestly, I'm kind of tempted, just based on the information I was able to gather from like multiple read-throughs. I really actually kind of want to give this episode a level 10, but I don't know if I can. I will give this episode a level 9.5. This is a really good episode, and it's a really informative, a really important episode to read too. But yeah, I called it, guys. Uru name dropped Agwin last episode for a reason, and that reason was because we were seeing Rain the very next episode. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm excited to see more of Rain and what she'll do for Spectre. Wait a minute. Assumably, just like anyone else, Rain wants no fucking part of this, but she wants her ability back, and she also doesn't want to fucking die. John and Sarah, Blake as well, like, they all, like, see her, they get involved with her, and they're just like, yo, we can get your ability back. Fuck Orin, work with us. What if Rain becomes a main side character? Not part of the main six. I highly doubt that she'll be part of the main six, but she gets involved like Layla and Doc, working for the good guys. That'd be sick, actually. oh my god, Uru, please make it happen. And if it does happen, give me my check, Uru. I gave you that idea. You got to pay it forward, Uru. Oh man, I just got really excited for that. Anyway, that will be it for this review and discussion. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me, if you think my thoughts are fucking stupid. Let's talk about it. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's review and discussion. I hope you guys look forward to the reaction. See you guys then. And as always, see you, Space Cowboy.